Hey everybody, Ace Alchemy here. I've got some astrology people popping up. Not everybody believes in it, and that's okay, but I've been getting the notion to get some astrology specific messages for the astrology individuals that might come up here to get some advice, information, stuff like that. Okay. I'll take one more. Okay. And then this one, these two are together. Alright. What is this reading about? The innovator. That's you. Aquarius. So there might be a significant Aquarius. Maybe you are the Aquarius, maybe it's somewhere in your birth chart. Everybody has every sign in their birth chart, but maybe it's somewhere significant for you. Maybe you have a significant person. This person maybe came in, taught you lessons. Maybe they were a teacher. Maybe they were a teacher in not the way that you had wanted, but it happened. Who knows? There's so many different people that come into the vessel, and so there's different interpretations of the energy. Aquarius. Experimental, rational, unique, liberal, electric, group-oriented, humanitarian, free, radical, eccentric, diverse, futuristic, utopian, idiosynchronistic, disruptive, edgy, and detached. Okay, so either you or someone has also been detached from a situation, but it's been unhealthy. This is a specific message. So you need to learn healthy, not learn, but you need to continue to practice healthy detachment and work on breaking that pattern of unhealthy detachment, of abandonment, of codependency if it's another person who is doing that to you and you're setting boundaries over that. So let's get into, that's the overall energy of what this is channeling. 12th house, surrender. So this is the house of the subconscious mind, spirituality, the occult, those types of things. Compassion, dreams, karma, forgiveness, baggage, trance states, the unseen, healing, spiritual development, guilt, prayer, and Akashic records. So this is your way forward, is continuing to surrender, because I feel like you've already been doing that. What is the way through? You surrender. When you surrender, it's an offering. Your surrender is an offering. So when you offer something, and when you're surrendering up and you surrender the situation, you surrender to these old patterns and paradigms, you are allowing new ways to come to you. So that leads to how you can alchemize it. And that is a trine. Trines are those triangles, which can actually be they can be tricky. The thing about trines is that they can be tricky, but they are typically where you get that's where your talents are from. Your skills, your gifts, abilities are from these trines that you have in your chart. So it's a trine. And maybe the square is significant to you as a message. Maybe that's a synchronistic thing for you. Again, individual meanings. So trine is for flow, harmonizing, aid, enriching, benefits, energizes, enjoys, eases, lubricates, gifts, rhythms, supports, indulges. So the way through is to indulge in your joy, to let that surrender be with flow and ease, and learn how to enjoy it and let it enrich your life. Let it feel as harmonious as you possibly can. That's the way through. The 7th house, relating. Relating. the seventh house, the house of relationships, how you relate to things. So again, the partner, companionship, best friends, marriage, relationships, opposition, equilibrium, sharing, communion, justice, balance, and social awareness. So this is something you're working on. You're clearly trying to build a community, or you're calling in a community, or you're going to be joining a community of some sort. This is very important to you. And again, the overall reading was also about a certain relationship dynamic. Maybe it was you with yourself. Maybe there's two sides of yourself that you've been going back and forth on. Maybe it's an actual physical manifestation of a person who was brought into your life to channel that energy for you. But this year, for sure, is the year of those balancing those relationships and surrendering and working on that flow and healing. That brings us to Chiron, healing and healing relationships this year. So this is going to be a magnificent year because you're building those structures and foundations and planting those seeds. So by next year, probably by the end of this year, mid to end of this year, we're already almost mid, so to near the tail end of this year into the next year, your relationships are going to be taking off as long as you keep that consistency and do your due diligence and stay focused, surrender, and stay in flow of your joy. Chiron, healing powers, growth, amends, release, personal development, inherited issues. So some of you are pattern interrupters. You are breaking generational curses, as they say. That's not how I would say it. I would say that, like, sometimes I can be very scientific about these things, and they're just inherited patterns, neurological patterns. And so you're pattern interrupting. You are the pattern interrupter, and you can pass that down to your, the people around you in communities, because it's not always family you pass it down to, but maybe it's family and the communities that you're going to be in touch with. Self-doubt, generational trauma, that's what I was looking for. Shame, sensitivity, forgiveness twice. Superpowers, divinity, cleansing, softness, pain. So again, easing into it, softening. I'm getting that this year you're getting in touch with the feminine side of yourself a little bit more, and learning how to use that as a strength. And then third house, perception. And this is where this comes in. Your perception is the thing that's going to do this for you. Speech, thoughts, social media. So some of you are building social media platforms such as one of the reasons why we probably are vibing. Excursions, dating, siblings, research, street life, love that, circulation, discussions, surroundings, and sociability. So some of you are also working on your social perception. Maybe in the past you were more socially awkward. It was really hard for you to socialize, but now you're coming out of your shell because you're learning more things like this about yourself. Maybe you had an experience where you saw somebody who, I don't like to judge, but let's just be honest, you saw somebody who seemed absolutely intolerable, and they were somehow making friends, and you were like, I can't be that bad, I gotta be able to do it. Stuff like that. Just saying. Then we got Libra, the idealist. This is also you, and you're becoming harmonious, cooperative, balanced, socially aware, artistic, people-pleasing, watch out for that, fair, idealistic, aesthetic, choosy, aspirational, geometric, graceful, considerate, obliging, indecisive, judgmental, flattering. So remember the pros and cons of everything. And then this is Sun, being, the final card. Essence, energy, self-awareness, life force, spirit, creativity, honor. Now we've got masculinity coming in, so balancing masculine and feminine energies, distinction, childishness, ego, individuality, solitude, expression, self-sufficiency, shine, heartbeat, father. So we're working on a lot of things through this process. There's definitely more coming up from this, so if anybody needs an individual reading to touch on any of those bases, let me know. I will be back with some more videos. This one was so much longer than I thought it was going to be. I could keep going. I'm going to have to put the rest of this up on YouTube at some point. Stay tuned.